A German court sentenced an 87-year-old grandma to 10 months in jail, or as I call it, likely a life sentence, for denying the Holocaust. Her name is Ursula Haverbeck, which, if I can pause here for a second, just sounds really anti-Semitic, doesn't it? I know that's totally wrong of me to say, and it's prejudiced, but Ursula Haverbeck. Raw Story says the following, quote, Haverbeck is a notorious extremist who was once chairwoman of a far-right training center shut down in 2008 for spreading Nazi propaganda. Haverbeck was dragged back into court after she went on television in April to declare that the Holocaust is the biggest and most sustainable lie in history. The court magistrate said, it is deplorable that this woman, who is still so active given her age, uses her energy to spread such hair-raising nonsense. She is a lost cause. Now, the part of the story that annoyed me the most, I have to admit, is that allegedly there were all, they called them anti-right-wing activists in the courtroom. So, in other words, they're lefties who were in the courtroom. And when they found her guilty, they all cheered. Guys, that's actually not liberal. You don't believe in freedom of speech and civil liberties if you take that stance. Now, I get it. The Holocaust did happen. And this is a grotesque, disgusting, cretinous opinion. Like, you're just a bad person. Okay? And obviously, it's more likely the case that you're working backwards from your conclusion. So you dislike Jews, you're anti-Semitic, and you're working backwards from that of, you know, I don't want to believe it's true because fuck the Jews and I hate the Jews, so I'm just going to rationalize as to how blame everything on the Jews and there was no Holocaust. So all that stuff is correct. She's a bad person. Her beliefs are wrong, and we can go on and on here. But you don't get to fucking lock them up for that. That should be obvious at this point. It's amazing. I feel like I shouldn't have to come out here and defend such basic propositions. Now, I get it. Germany's a different place, and it's not like the U.S., and in the U.S., we're more absolutists when it comes to free speech, and other places, that's not necessarily true, and quite literally, the laws in Germany say you can't look on a favorable way at Nazi Germany, but you gotta change that. I'm sorry, you do. You have to believe in freedom, even when it doesn't feel right. You know, in the U.S., we allowed the KKK to march through a black and Jewish town, because we said, hey, if they're just talking, even if it's a hateful message, we have no right to censor them. You can't just censor opinions that people don't like, because then where do you draw the line? It's a slippery slope to everybody telling everybody, I'm going to put you in jail for saying that. I'm going to put you in jail for saying that. What offends me is much different than what offends Bill O'Reilly. Does Bill get to pick who he wants to lock up? He'd lock me up. Should I be able to lock up Rush Limbaugh for saying the stupid shit he says? No. So it's just a matter of believing in the principle over anything else. And in this case, the principle is freedom of speech. Where, yes, it's wrong to say the Holocaust didn't happen, but you shouldn't be locked up for it. It's also wrong, by the way, there's an article online today about how some guy on Tumblr posted like this sympathetic to ISIS picture or something. And now he's being charged with a federal crime. And this is in the U.S., to be clear. Okay, well then you're violating freedom of speech. There was no direct threat of violence there. There's no libel or slander. So, you don't like what he's saying, nor do I, by the way, to be clear. But you're locking him up as a result of that. There was no crime committed here. This is pre-crime. Very Orwellian. Either you believe in the principle of free speech or you do not. And that even applies to the most grotesque opinions like Holocaust denial. And you don't get to say, no, I do believe in free speech, but lock her up. That's a contradiction. If you want to lock her up, you don't believe in free speech.